Hello everyone. The name of today's story is The Little Wooden Horse from Adventures of the Little Wooden Horse, and this written by Ursula Moray Williams. It's a very interesting story, so just hear carefully. One day, Uncle Pedder made a little wooden horse. This was not at all an extraordinary thing, for Uncle Peter made toys every day of his life. But oh, this was such a brave little horse, so gay and splendid on his four green wheels, so proud and dashing with his red saddle and blue stripes. Uncle Pedder had never made so fine a little horse before. "I shall ask 5 shillings for this little wooden horse," he cried. What was his surprise when he saw large tears trickling down the newly painted face of the little wooden horse. "Don't do that," said Uncle Pedder. "Your paint will run, and what is there to cry about? Do you want more spots on your sides? Do you wish for bigger wheels? Do you creak? Are you stiff? Aren't your stripes broad enough? Upon my word, I can see nothing to cry about. I shall certainly sell you for 5 shillings." But the tears still ran down the newly painted cheeks of the little wooden horse, till at last Uncle Pedder lost patience. He picked him up and threw him on the pile of wooden toys he meant to sell in the morning. The little wooden horse said nothing at all, but went on crying. When night came, and the toys slept in the sack under Uncle Pedder's chair, the tears were still running down the cheeks of the little wooden horse. In the morning Uncle Pedder picked up the sack and set out to sell his toys. At every village he came to the children ran out to meet him, crying, "Here's Uncle Pedder! Here's Uncle Pedder, come to sell his wooden toys!" Then out the cottagers came, the mothers and the fathers, the grandpas and the grandmas, the uncles and the aunts, the elder cousins and the godparents, to see what Uncle Pedder had to sell. The children who had birthdays were very fortunate. They had the best toys given to them, and could choose what they would like to have. The children who had been good in school were lucky too. Their godparents bought them wooden pencil boxes and rulers and paper cutters like grown-up people. The little ones had puppets, dolls, marionettes, and tops. Uncle Pedder had made them all, painting the dolls in red and yellow, the tops in blue, scarlet, and green. When the children had finished choosing, their mothers, fathers, grandpas, grandmas, uncles, aunts, elder cousins, and godparents sent them home, saying, "Now let's hear no more of you for another year." Then they stayed behind to gossip with old Peter, who brought them news from the other villages he had passed by on his way. Nobody bought the little wooden horse, for nobody had 5 shillings to spend. The fathers and the mothers, the grandpas and the grandmas, the uncles and the aunts, the elder cousins and the godparents, all shook their heads, saying, 5 shillings! Well, that's too much. Won't you take any less, Uncle Pedder? But Uncle Pedder would not take a penny less. "You see, I have never made such a fine little horse before," he said. All the while the tears ran down the nose of the little wooden horse, who looked very sad indeed. So that when Uncle Pedder was alone once more, he asked him, "Tell me, my little wooden horse, what is there to cry about? Have I driven the nails crookedly into your legs? Don't you like your nice green wheels and your bright blue stripes? What is there to cry about? I would like to know." At last the little wooden horse made a great effort and sobbed out, "Oh, master, I don't want to leave you. I'm a quite little horse. I don't want to be sold. I want to stay with you forever and ever. I shouldn't cost much to keep, master. Just a little bit of pain now and then. Perhaps a little oil in my wheels once a year. I will serve you faithfully, master. If only you won't sell me for 5 shillings. I'm a quiet little horse, I am, and the thought of going out into the wide world breaks my heart. Let me stay with you here, master. Oh, do!" Uncle Pedro scratched his head as he looked in surprise at his little wooden horse. "Well," he said, "that's a funny thing to cry about. Most of my toys want to go out into the wide world. Still, as nobody wants to give 5 shillings for you, and you have such a melancholy expression, you can stop with me for the present, and maybe I won't get rid of you after all." When Uncle Pedro said this, the little wooden horse stopped crying at once and galloped 3 times round in a circle. "Why, you are a gay fellow after all," said Uncle Pedro, as the little wooden horse kicked his legs in the air so that the 4 green wheels spun round and round. "Who would have thought it?" said Uncle Pedro. "Wasn't the story good? The little wooden horse. I guess the moral we can take from this story is that until we tell about our feelings, other people might not be able to understand that. So, whatever we are feeling, we should tell it in words. Okay, so that's all for today. Bye bye for now. Take care.